Drivers went home. He got that last spot by 12 one-thousandths of a second over Joe Nemechek. Eric Almirola trying to find funding to continue on in the season. And Darrell mentioned Elliott Sadler. Braz Keselowski in a fifth Hendrick car, and Max Pappas in a Michael Waltrip Toyota. Bill Elliott for the Wood brothers. They're back, and there's Reed Sorensen driving for Richard Petty. Casey Mears for Richard Childress. Jamie McMurray strong in practice in his Ford. Regan Smith has finished every Cup race he's ever started. There with Michael Waltrip, row 17. Martin Truex Jr., David Stremme in the 16th row. And as you look at the rest of our starting lineup, Darrell, let's get a word with our pole sitter.
And David Ruderman, it's a DW. Got a copy, buddy?
Hey, DW, what's going on?
Brother, it's time. It's time to pick up that first win. You were fast in practice. You're on the pole. What do you think, man? Can you pull it off today?
I think we got as good a chance as we ever had to do one of these deals. We've had a great air and stream machine since we've unloaded. Toyota's giving us great horsepower here. And Rodney Childers and the guys are doing a great job. So, man, I think today's as good as any other day, I think. What do you think?
Well, you got the best starting spot in the house, and, you know, if you can keep it there all day, I'd love to see you win one, man. You deserve it. Just hammer down, put on a good show, and bring that thing home, put her in victory circle. What do you say?
All right, buddy, we're going to do our best. Appreciate everything, and thank you for giving me my chance there, boss. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. You're a good man, and good luck.
It was Darrell that took David Ruderman off of the short tracks and into what was then the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Kyle Busch won yesterday. He beat Tony Stewart. They finished 1-2 in the nationwide race. Casey Kane's the only driver ever to win here from the pole. Matt Kenseth usually starts out back. There's two of those Roush cars on row 2. Watch out for Matt today. Jeff Gordon, that long victory drought, will that be broken today as he shares the front row for the second week in a row, this time with David Ruderman. Make it a great race day with the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. And here are FedEx keys to the race.
Let's take a look at the trends or the patterns that a crew chief would look at, especially in the last 8 spring races, which has been NASCAR on Fox. The first caution, normally around lap 22, only once in the past 8 years has it come after lap 30. The longest green flag run, average of 96 laps. We always have a minimum of 1 flag set of pit stops. Fuel run here is about 54 to 58 laps. The last caution, this race is 334 laps, around lap 305. Last year we got a caution with 3 laps to go that bunched them up. This is a tough race to stay on the lead lap. The average, even with the free pass, over the last 8 races, an average of 14 cars. Only twice more than 15 cars were on the lead lap at the end of the race.
Thanks, Larry. Now make it a great race day with the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager.
A lot of guys in the garage area are thanking Larry for doing all this because now they don't have to.
I do a lot of legwork for him.
That's right.
Let's get some late stories from Pit Road. Matt Yoakum.
Mike, earlier Carl Edwards talked about the dramatic change in weather today, the temperature 54 degrees, but crew chiefs like Chad Knaus, that makes them want to utilize all the technology they have in their arsenal, even pagers that give them up-to-the-minute weather conditions as far as wind gusts. The latest measurement here, 10 miles per hour. That's what they have going on here on pit road. And Dick Berggren, a little farther down pit road, it all goes down to what the driver computes back to his crew chief from the seat.
Yeah, and several of the drivers told me this morning, Matt, that a wind this strong will pick the car up and toss it around, maybe even shove it into a corner deeper than they want to go. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. told me that he's not at all concerned about the wind. Jr. today starts in the 20th spot. His fans hoping he's finishing first. Mike?
Ready to race in Texas. This will be the 26th race in what's now the Sprint Cup Series in the great state of Texas.
Here you see 500 miles, 334 laps, pit road speed 45 miles per hour. The pit window for Sunoco Race Fuel 54 to 58 laps. DW, she may not be the biggest, but she's the baddest and the fastest. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Yeehaw! Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
Takes it into turn 3. Here comes Kenseth on the bottom. David Rudiman trying to lead that first lap.
I tell you, though, he is in a hole right there with a 17 up his back bumper and a 24 on his outside. That makes that car hard to handle.
What Matt Kenseth is doing, he's easing it into the corner. He's nailing that throttling.
First pile of laps at Martinsville last week. He wants to seal the deal and lead the last lap. Hasn't been able to do it in quite a while.
I don't really like David Rudiman. Right now, you can do that with fresh tires. Can't do that long.
Paul Menard has moved up a spot to 4th behind Kenseth. David Reagan 5th. Kyle Busch in 6th. Tony Stewart. Here's Casey Kane in 8th with Jimmy Johnson.
And I think the reason David was fighting so hard with Jeff Gordon, he wanted to lead the first lap bad. But he saw that it wasn't going to work line now, and Gordon is scooting away.
I just think the new tire combination that we're running in a lot of places in 2009, a left side tire that has a lot more grip. Steve Letarte, Jeff Gordon's crew chief, told me, said Jeff Gordon loves the feel of that tire. It helps him feel the front end.
Robbie Gordon slid up the racetrack, but he did manage to gather it back in. He almost slid up right in front of the whole second half of the field.
Would you like to see how that happened and why that happened?
I sure would.
He had a little bit of help. Watch these two guys right here. The 2 car and the 07 car.
Wow.
Excuse me, coming through.
Now remember, that's happening at about 170 miles per hour right there in the middle of the corner.
And just remember, that car, the 2 car, he was bad fast at Atlanta. He led 3/4 of the race. Very similar racetrack. I think he's in a hurry to get to the front.
And he was bad frustrated last week on the radio
and
with
he had
their lack of progress.
And he had a great practice. He was second quick in practice, had a bad qualifying run. I believe that car is better than it qualified for sure.
Tell you what, Greg Biffle, he's been on the move. He started back in the 14th position. He's now moved up to 13th. He got a little bit high up the racetrack. Definitely a racetrack Greg Biffle has won at, a track that he likes.
When you can get grip up high off a turn 2, it makes you look like you got an afterburner going down that back straightaway. You get off a turn 2 with so much speed when you can run that high line.
Right behind him. I don't know if I'd bet on Carl Edwards today, but I surely would not bet against him. He swept the 2 Texas races last year and practiced well. Edwards started 13th. That's where he's running.
That was a prime example of having to get out of the throttle off the corner and how much it hurts you all the way down the straightaway.
Well, I think it won't take long, Larry, until these guys will be venturing up around the top of this racetrack. There's just so much more momentum there. You can carry so much more speed off the turns. It gets rid of some of that dreaded push that you have off of 2 and off of 4 when you can run that high line.
For the
car, the tire pressures are pretty low when you start a race.
Let Matt Kenseth go, and Kenseth's been better on the...
A great run in the nation race yesterday, qualified 3rd, finished 5th. His crew told me it's amazing.